Hey everyone, it's Enjoy English School. I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Antony.
Today is July 21st, and we're on pages 42 and 43 of our magazine to see the world in picture story called Medical Supplies.
今天我们要介绍图解世界这个单元里头的医疗用具。那今天呢，这个情境的话，其实是两个人在讨论到说，其中一个人他在打篮球的时候摔伤了，很倒霉的发生的事情，然后需要一些医疗的一些措施了。在这边的话，它的主要的这个背景是这个样子的。
So we have bad luck on the basketball court. Natasha and Scotty are talking about a little accident that happened apparently not too long ago.Yeah,
所以在这边的话，我们看到这个 subtitle 里面就有提到说 Natasha is talking to Scotty. 我们有两个主角，一个是女生 Natasha， 另外一个呢就是男生 Scotty。 那 Scotty 的话，他是受伤的那一个 about his accident on the basketball court. Basketball court 就是指这个篮球场上。那我们赶快来看看今天的这个内容吧。
Alright, so before we begin any dialogue, as always, let's write out the numbers of our dialogue. Today we have 11 different speaking roles, and we have Natasha, that's our female, she's our girl, and we have Scotty, he's the male, he's our boy, and Natasha is talking to Scotty about his accident on the basketball court.
没错，所以我们今天的话就有两个主角，然后他们两个人彼此之间呢，就聊到说今天 Scotty 的伤势还要怎么样处理。
Natasha says in line number 1, "Hey, be careful moving around like that. I think you might have broken a bone in your ankle."
哇，这听起来好严重哦，对不对？第一句话我们就听到 Natasha 跟 Scotty 讲说 Hey, be careful moving around like that. 你这样移动的时候要小心诶。 Be careful doing something. 就做这件事的时候要特别小心。I think you might have broken a bone in your ankle. 在这里的话特别把后面这个地方 I think you might have broken 这三个字 might have broken 画起来一样，我们针对过去的事情所做的一个推测的时候，我们会用 might have 加上 VPP。 这种推测的话主要有三个助动词会用到，如果你很肯定你可以用 must have VPP， 那如果说今天还好普通肯定用 may have VPP。 那在这边的话 might have broken 这边的话就是最不肯定，但是呢也是希望对方不要发生这样的事情。 I think you might have broken a bone in your ankle. 我在猜想你刚刚可能摔断了脚踝的某根骨头诶。
Now, your ankle is where your leg and foot come together. And they come together at about 90 degrees. This 90 degrees, 90度 is an angle, A-N-G-L-E. Now, the word ankle and angle look and sound really similar, and that's because they have the same root word that just means degrees.
哦，原来如此啊！所以老师刚刚提到一个字，好 ，angle, A-N-G-L-E。angle 是角度的意思，那 ankle 它都只是把这个 G 改成了 K 变成 ankle， 虽然它们听起来看起来都很像，主要的原因是因为它们共同的特色就是 degree， 它们是来自于一个字根叫 degree， 就是指角度的意思。
Okay, and line number 2, Scotty says, "I guess I landed wrong on my foot while playing basketball. It doesn't look too bad, does it? Do we have a first aid kit?"
好，在这边的话，他第二句话 Scotty 就讲了 I guess I landed wrong on my foot while playing basketball. 我刚刚在打篮球的时候脚着地的姿势是不对的，这个 landed 这个字就是着地的意思。我可能着地的话不对。 It doesn't look too bad, does it? 看起来应该不算太糟吧。你可以想象一下他们两个人正在看着他的脚，然后讲说这样看起来好像没有那么严重，对不对？ Do we have a first aid kit?好 ，first aid kit 这个字的话 ，first aid 如果念在一起的时候，你会听到 first aid。好，那个 T 会连到后面的 AID， first aid。Do we have a first aid kit？ 我们会不会有急救箱啊？那种急救的那种医疗箱。
This first aid kit is really tricky English here. So number 1, when first aid adds a noun at the end, it becomes an adjective. And when first aid is an adjective, you need the hyphen 连字号。But if we're only talking about first aid, 后面没有另外一个 noun, then this is the noun, and first aid won't use a hyphen.
哇，好可恶啊！
Yeah,
这句话
it's super tricky.
Yeah, 非常奇妙，就是如果你看到急救箱的这个 first aid 后面还有名词的时候，这个 first 跟 aid 中间要有一个连字号。但如果说今天后面没有任何名词的话 ，first aid 这两个字是分开来，不需要加连字号的哦。
All right, let's move on to line number 3. Natasha says, a first aid kit isn't enough, Scotty. Band-aids and some tape aren't going to help you here. We're going to have to get an ambulance and take you to the emergency room.
好，接下来我们看第三句话 Natasha 就讲了 A first aid kit isn't enough, Scotty. 他说光一个急救箱哪里够啊，一点都不够。Band-aids and some tape aren't going to help you here. 光是用 OK 绷啦，还有一些胶布 some tape 这个字的话就是胶布胶带的意思。那在这里的话，因为 tape 它是不可数的一个概念，所以它是用 some tape aren't going to help you here. 光是这样还没有办法帮得了你。We're going to have to get an ambulance. Ambulance 当然指的是救护车的意思 and take you to the emergency room 要送你到急诊室去，叫救护车才是解决问题的办法。
Now, very quickly, a little side story here about ambulances. Today, we know ambulances take people to the hospital for emergency care. But originally, ambulances were people that walked around the city and found someone with a very serious disease, and they would take you and throw you out of the city to protect everyone else.
哇、OK 所以在这边跟大家讲一下，他说一个小小的故事跟大家说一下，像现在的话 ambulance 这个救护车是把你送到医院去帮你治疗照顾一下，但以前的时候在医疗不发达的时候呢 ambulance 这个字这个 ambulate 这个 ambul 前面这个地方都是在讲行走的意思，就是指一群人在这个城市里头走，一看到有生病的好，有点快要不行了，可能会有传染疾病的问题的，他们就把它运送，把这些病人运送到城外来保护城内健康的人。
In line number 4, Scotty says, that's what I was afraid of. Do you think I could still play in the game next week?
接下来他就说了that's what I was afraid of. 我担心就这件事啦。Do you think I can still play in the game next week? 你觉得我这样子受伤了还能打下礼拜的球赛吗？他在想的还是球赛的事情。
Scotty has the fighting spirit.
没错，真的是。
All right, let's get ready for a quick break. Welcome back to Enjoy English School. We are talking about our medical supplies world in picture story, Bad Luck on the Basketball Court, and this is on page 42 and 43 of your magazine. Let's look at line number 5. Natasha says, your ankle looks really bad. You might be using a walker, crutches, a cane, or be in a wheelchair for a while.OK,
所以接下来你就看到这句话了，他说了第5句，那 Natasha 讲到 Your ankle looks really bad. 你现在这个脚踝的状况真的很糟糕。You might be using a walker. 你可能需要一个助行器啊 or crutches. 你可能需要这个拐杖啊 or a cane. 或是那种手提的那种像是拐杖糖一样那种拐杖。Or be in a wheelchair for a while, 或者是坐轮椅坐一段时间。这边特别提一下 crutches 是那种有点像是2根的这样子驱动，有点像 Y 字形的那种拐杖。A cane 的话比较是老人家拿的那种像雨伞一样一根，然后像是拐杖糖那样的单个的拐杖，是2种不同的拐杖。如果说今天 be in a wheelchair 指的是你必须要坐一段时间的轮椅。
So crutches and canes both come from the Old Norse. That's what the Bay Old the Old Norse word for hook.
Hook 就是钩子的意思。这2个字的话，其实都是来自于北欧的文字。
Now, the idea for wheelchairs are really quite old. Some of the earliest wheelchairs come from about 500 AD.
所以说今天提到这个 wheelchair 的话，我们不妨知道一下它的历史哦。它的话大概至少已经在这个公元5世纪的时候，500年的时候呢，就已经出现了。
And in 1595, the king of Spain, he had gout, which was this disease that made it hard to move around. He had a very comfortable chair, and he had wheels on the bottom, and people would push him around.
所以这跟老师提到一个字 gout 指的就是痛风的意思。那在1595年的时候，差不多是16世纪尾巴的时候呢，有一个亲王叫做 King Philip。好，他的话呢，本身就是因为有痛风的关系，所以他就坐在这个椅子上面，这个椅子有加装了轮子，然后让这个仆人推着他到处跑。
But the first wheelchair that you could use to move around by yourself was invented in 1655 by a man named Stephen Farfler.
但是到后来呢，当我们自己我们现在如果要坐轮椅的话，没有仆人会推着我们跑啊，对不对？所以自己要推轮椅的那种形态的，那样子的形态的这种轮椅呢，是在1655年的时候，由一个 Stephen Farfler 这个人他所创造出来的。
So he broke his back when he was just a kid, but he was a clockmaker, and so he understood how to use like gears, G-E-A-R-S, to help move himself around.
这 Steven 呢，小的时候他就已经可能小时候摔伤了背吧，可能就瘫痪了。他本身的话是那种钟表师傅，他很知道怎么样使用这些齿轮，于是他就帮他自己做了一个，也用这样的知识呢，去做出来一个可以自己推的轮椅。
All right, let's go on to line number 6. Scotty says, "This is horrible. I hate the hospital. I'm terribly afraid of needles, scalpels, and syringes."
哇，所以你看这个地方，他这个Scotty 跟我一样，我也非常害怕这些东西哦。This is horrible， 天哪，糟透了。I hate the hospital， 我讨厌医院。I'm terribly afraid of needles, scalpels, and syringes。好，光是想到这些针头啦 ，needles, scalpels 手术刀啊，或者是那种针筒啊 ，syringes， 我就觉得很害怕。
So a lot of people would call a syringe a needle, especially if you're a little kid. So needle, syringe, they both mean the same thing. The sentence continues, "People wearing rubber gloves freak me out. I get so disgusted looking at bags of blood. What do doctors look at under microscopes? It can't be pretty."
哇，他一连串的噼里啪啦一直讲，可见他有多害怕。没错，他就说了 ，People wearing rubber gloves freak me out。光是看到有戴那种塑胶手套的人，就让我吓坏了。I get so disgusted looking at bags of blood。光看着血袋一袋袋那个血呢，就让我超害怕。Disgusted 就觉得很恶心。What do doctors look at?Under microscopes， 在那个显微镜上面看这些什么东西啊 ？It can't be pretty， 一定恶心死了，一定很难看。
It's poor Scotty. Like he's thinking about the big game, and then he's like, "Oh my goodness, hospital, and all these terrible, disgusting things that have to happen now."
没错，所以他一下子就讲了非常非常多他害怕的东西哦，可见他真的是非常恐惧医院这个环境。
And Natasha says, "You have to go, or you'll never get better."
好呢，他就讲说不行，你非去不可 ，You have to go， or 就是不然的话会怎么样 ？You will never get better， 不然你这样好不起来。
All right, so just before our break, let's tell another quick story. So all of these things like needles, scalpels, and syringes, rubber gloves, they are made to help keep you safe from germs.
这些东西你刚刚看到什么 scalpel, syringe， 然后 rubber gloves 这些塑胶手套，其实都是想尽办法要让你不要碰到病菌 germs, G-E-R-M.
So, of course, one thing we didn't talk about yet is that white doctor's coat. And those are also designed to help keep you safe and the doctor safe too.
OK， 所以像你可能说你看到那种医生穿的那种白大衣啊等等，他们一样也是要保持得很干净，主要也是希望防范病菌，不要让病菌侵害你的身体。
But in the past, you would never, ever, ever see a doctor wear a white lab coat because that made him look like he was inexperienced.
但是在以前比较古代的时候呢，你永远不会看到医生穿着这么干净清爽的白大衣，因为那样子会让他看起来很菜，觉得好像没什么经验。
So if a doctor had to buy a new white coat, what he would do is also get some pig's blood and pour it all over the jacket and then wear that.
哦天哪，听到就好害怕啊！所以说今天如果一个医生要去买一件新的大衣的话，他一定会先处理过。怎么处理呢？就是买来新的大衣之后呢，就拿到那些猪血啊弄在上面，感觉让看起来就觉得哇，我开过很多刀，我很有经验，上面都是血，你看看。
And that was one of the ways people would say, "Oh, this doctor has a lot of experience."
所以说今天看到这个医生的这个白袍上面非常多的血字啊，很多东西，就说哇，这医生一定很有经验，他开起来一定很棒。
All right, let's take a quick break. Welcome back to Enjoy English School. We are finishing up our World in Picture story, medical supplies. We're looking at line number 8 where Scotty says, "Let me try to walk it off." Okay, you're right. Call the ambulance.
OK， 所以在第8句的话，那个 Scotty 还不死心哦，叫你去医院你不去，叫你叫救护车你不叫，他还说什么 Let me try to walk it off。哎，我再走一走看，说不定就好了。他说走一下应该 OK 的，就没问题，想混过去，对不对？就一走呢，他就然后痛死了，对不对？OK, you're right。好啦，你对了，你说的都对了。Call the ambulance。好了，我们叫救护车。
So this walk it off is a good phrase if you like to play sports. If you see a foreigner playing baseball or football or basketball and they get a little bit hurt, they'll say walk it off, walk it off, walk it off. Don't sit there, kind of move around and you'll feel better. Walk it off is very common when you play sports.
尤其你在那个运动的时候，如果不小心有点受伤了，有的时候旁边人就跟你说 walk it off， 就是要动起来，动一动就会好了。你光坐在那个地方搞不好伤的会更严重。
And then Natasha says, I told you to be careful.
Wow, Natasha 感觉很像姐姐，对不对？她说 I told you to be careful， 叫你小心你不小心，好在旁边就进行一个碎碎念这样子。
And then Scotty says in line number 10, Can you call my girlfriend and tell her to bring me my glasses, a toothbrush, and a few surgical masks? Seems like I might need to stay in the hospital for a while.
好，所以接下来呢 Scotty 总算认命了，对不对？然后他就跟 Natasha 就讲说了 Can you call my girlfriend and tell her to bring me my glasses, a toothbrush, and a few surgical masks? 好，在这里的话就请他说你可不可以打电话跟我的女朋友，请她帮我带我的眼镜，然后呢还有这个牙刷，还有几个手术用的口罩，就是我们一般的戴的那种口罩。好，在这里的话It can say it seems like， 在这里的话 it 很多时候在口语上会省略掉 seems like， 大家直接就讲 seems like I might need to stay in the hospital for a while。 好，在这里的话可能要在这个医院里头住上一阵子了。
So be careful if you speak with British English speakers. They like to say in hospital, not in the hospital. That is a very North American way to say it. So in hospital is fine, but it makes you sound very British. To American ears, it really feels wrong.
OK， 所以在这里的话特别注意，所以很多时候你如果听到美式跟英式英文的差异的话，会差在那个 the。美式英文都会说 go to the hospital， 英式就是 go to hospital。
That's correct。
没有任何的 the， 所以在讲的时候，如果你听到没有 the 的话，那是英式的英文。
And line number 11, Natasha says, I'll do that right now.
好， Natasha 就在第11句话就讲說 I'll do that right now， 我现在就打电话给他。
All right, let's get ready for vocab review. All right, so we're back with vocab review, and we got lots of great words today. Number 1, a first aid kit.
A first aid kit 就是急救箱的意思。
Number 2, Band-Aids.
Band-Aids 就是 OK 泵。
Number 3, tape.
Tape 就是胶布。
Number 4, an ambulance.
An ambulance 就是救护车的意思，还记得那个救护车的故事，对吗？
Number 5, the emergency room.
The emergency room 就是指急诊室，有的时候我们好像提到这 ER 就是这个急诊室的意思。
Number 6, a walker.
A walker 就是助行器，有那种么字形的助行器。
Number 7, crutches.
Crutches 就是 Y 字形的拐杖。
Number 8, a cane.
A cane 就是拐杖糖一样那种单个的拐杖。
Number 9, a wheelchair.
A wheelchair 当然指的是轮椅。
Number 10, a needle.
A needle 指的是针头。
Number 11, a scalpel.
A scalpel 指的是手术刀。
Number 12, a syringe.
A syringe 就是指针筒的意思。
Number 13, a rubber glove.
A rubber glove 指的是那个塑胶手套。
And lastly, a surgical mask.
A surgical mask 就是我们手术用的口罩。
And that's it for today. We will see you next time and enjoy English School. I'm Chris Korsky.
I'm Antony.
See you then.
Bye-bye.